His video ref is Chris Kendall. And Bevan French, well, he sampled the atmosphere last week against Hull Kingston Rovers. Now he gets a start because of the injury to Joe Burgess. It's probably not the optimum conditions for a winger, Barry, but I'm looking forward to seeing this guy because a lot's been talked about his pace.
Having watched that game, he's a very excitable character. When he's got the ball, he's looking to make things happen. And I think the lads in the studio talked about, I'm not sure it was Kevin Brown, this crowd get excited. What they do is they expect big things. And speaking to Joe Burgess, picked up a bicep injury. He'll be out for a couple of weeks, so the door is open for Bevan French. And then that healthy competition for places within the back division for Wigan will, I think, create what should be a really healthy environment there.
Stephen Ratchford ready to get us underway. The crowd still making their way into the ground. Not the biggest for a Wigan-Warrington game, but it's been a miserable day. And we're at the height of the summer holidays. And those that are here might well see quite a contest between these two. Warrington going into it, that's the unbelievable thing. They've beaten Wigan 3 times this season, and yet they start this game as underdogs.
Well, they need that same sort of form and mindset, don't they? The belief that they've shown playing in the big games. Let's not forget that they've played in 6 Challenge Cups in the last decade. They've played in grand finals. They've not managed to win at Old Trafford, but they want to put that right, and the form certainly hasn't been good enough for the coach Steve Price, and he knows it needs to be better.
That's good from Warrington, though, at the start of this game. 2 strong tackles, but that one too strong, and Ben Thaler has awarded Wigan the penalty.
Yeah, Warrington Wolves coming out of the blocks, very aggressive. They will want, as a forward pack, to try and dominate this young pack of Wigan forwards. A lot been made of Oliver Partington, Morgan Smithies, who start the game, and of course Liam Farrell coming back into the side, Liam Byrne on the bench. So some good forwards in the cherry and white shirts, but Warrington, they need the 2 points and can't afford, I don't believe they will think about the big challenge, and the big Challenge Cup are on the horizon. There's the strip from Chris Hill.
So the penalty allows Wigan to move into Warrington territory. And the ball with Liam Farrell now. Will run from Powell and back into the middle of the fields. Morgan Smithies, that's the 5th tackle. The ball back with Williams, and seemed to be taken by surprise by that. Ratchford claims the kick.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe there's some communication problem then. Good pressure on the inside from Darryl Clark on George Williams. You know how strong he was at last week. Again, good contact, good squeeze in the tackle from Morgan Smithies on Jake Marmore.
Tony Clubb was very quickly off the line, and he's quickly in there on Chris Hill as well. The big guns putting markers down early on.
But one thing you know about the Warriors is every time that you play, they're going to throw the bodies in, but that is one man that can change the direction of the way the team's going. He is one of the most aggressive runners of the ball that I've seen for a long time.
Akuala has been awarded a new 2-year deal by the Warrington Wolves. Reward for persistence, really, because he's been playing in the Championship at times during his Warrington career, and maybe seemed as though he was on the outer, but he's stuck to his guns.
And there's that kicking game we spoke about before the match. New recruit Matty Smith on the 4th tackle, choosing territory over possession, challenging Wigan to march upfield.
There is French, beg your pardon, playing the ball just inside his own half. Tony Clubb. He is stopped in his tracks, and it was the aforementioned Akuala making the tackle. There's Luluai Smithies now. And Sam Powell quickly there, and quickly off the mark, Powell, and always looking for something. That time the kick, though, didn't work, and it's Akuala who picks it up for the Warrington Wolves.
Well, he looked to kick it over to the right-hand corner, didn't he? Hopefully to get it to Bevan French, who called for it. He put his hand up. Sam Powell reacted. He just couldn't get a clean kick away. You could see that kicks it straight into Matty Smith, and then Akuala picks it up.
Smithies is everywhere at the moment. He's started strongly as the 18-year-old.
The same as last time he was on Sky Sports. He's already made 3 carries in the game.
He's there again.
He gets through an awful lot of work, and good luck to the panel who are going to pick Super League Young Player of the Year this year. We've got some brilliant players at a number of clubs across the league.
He might even find himself on the plane at the end of the year, Morgan Smith, as his strides are that big. He's in that team and he's in there on merit.
Well, here's Hardacre. Patton following up to make the tackle. And Williams scampering run from the NRL-bound player. Lulawai. Sarginson loops round. Former NRL player, Gold Coast career. He plays the ball on his 40-metre line. Partington now, that was a big hit on him. And Lulawai with the kick, just dinks it over the top. Lynham having to turn. Tom Lynham back in the side after his one-game suspension, turns and runs it back.
Well, Thomas Lulawai recognises that they need to find the ground every time they kick it. He's looking up, he's counting numbers, he's seeing what's in front of him, trying to break down this Warrington back three of Stephen Ratchford, Tom Lynham and Jake Marmot.
You know, we've only been playing for 5 minutes, but it appears to me that Wigan's technique and tackling is better at controlling the opponents. Here's a good run by Levette. They've put 4 men into that, slowing more of it down, and territorially slowly nudging the game towards the Wolves try line.
Cooper shifts the ball on to Chris Hill. Hill, good footwork from him, dodging the traffic up to the 40-metre line. It's Cooper once more, who's the link, and now Ratchford, and they'll give it some width, but that's good defence in midfield from Sarginson. Goodwin felt that. And Matty Smith, once a Wigan player, drills that kick down the middle of the field.
That's a real good kick, a real intelligent kick, as well the speed of which Zach Hardacre picks the ball up, attacks the line, gains valuable metres. Liam Marshall's trying to do again here now, centre field, so it's opened the play up for the next Warrior player to carry the ball.
That's Gildart's. Lovely footwork from him.
Wait here, please, boys. Go, 3.
He's got his wet weather tyres on as Oliver Gildart, by the look of things. Up to the halfway line.
Good listening.
Farrell trying to burst through, but Harvey Levette gets a hold of Liam Farrell. Going to keep an eye on him with 7 tries in his last 3 games as Ratchford is underneath that kick, under no great pressure, and there's an inviting gap for Ratchford to exploit there.
And you can't give him some space, can you? He grew up not far from here, played his amateur rugby in the town as well, Stephen Ratchford, so he wants a big game against the Warriors. He cleans things up at the back and he's so influential in attack as well.
And penalty goes Warrington's way.
There were Willie Iser, the man who topped the tackle count last year for the Warriors, always in the thick of it, loves defence, just gets wrapped up in the tackle from Tom Lynham, and it's a relieving penalty for the Wolves. They have been struggling to make some metres, getting away from their own try line. They have had a decent couple of kicks from the likes of Matty Smith, but then the Wigan just seems to be marching them up the field.
There is Matty Smith and Akawala now, but that's solid defence. But he's still wrestling is Akawala. And he doesn't stop, does he, Oliver Partington?
He's a rumman. He's a rumman. He rips in, doesn't he, the youngster?
So across the field comes Darryl Clark, and Clark, it's a good run from him. It's taken Warrington deep into Wigan territory. Here is Cooper now, winding up for a run. And Warrington threatening here. And Ratchford gets the pass away to Ratchford. And the referee says that went forward.
Yeah, some panic, wasn't there, from Tom Lynham. Good harassing in defence from the Warriors. Look, he gets the ball, he looks to tap it back in. And you can see Stephen Ratchford, what they're saying, just get into field, get into field. The offload, nothing wrong with that, it's that pass.
Ben Thaler deciding that one went forward.
Well, Steve Price knows there's got to be a lot of emphasis on attack, a lot on defence here now. Everyone wants to attack, everyone wants to do the fancy stuff, but teams that win silverware have a good defensive attitude. They want to get involved because players necessarily aren't signed because they're good defenders, because they're good attackers and what they do with the ball, because that's what everyone sees, but you always want a good defensive attitude.
Wait, go.
Here is Liam Marshall. Sam Powell just trotting back to rejoin the action. I think he had a tyre problem. Shoelaces, bootlaces come undone. Here is Oliver Partington making his 5th start in a row, the youngster. Morgan Smithies, loose forward in the last 5. The young guns have stood up well for this Wigan club. And here's Williams. Dribbles that kick along the ground, but it's straight into the arms of Jake Mamo. And Mamo straight into the arms of the Wigan defenders.
Well, good contact, wasn't it, by George Williams? But what about the pickup? Don't forget, it's been raining all day around the northwest, and he picks the ball up cleanly, he picks Williams out, and Williams picks him out as well.
Here is Tom Lynham into the middle of the field, 40 metres from his own try line, and Patton, Harvey Livett now. No Jack Hughes still for the Warrington club. Harvey Livett keeping his place in this wire lineup. Mike Cooper.
Doesn't go down importantly, so he's going to play the ball with a stray defender at the back for Wigan.
Patton's kick, Farrell closing him down quickly. Hardacre underneath the kick. And then looking for a way out.
It's a very steady start by both teams, and according to our stats, Wigan Warriors have had the ball 6 times. They've got to the kick 6 times, and they're not afraid to pass this ball either, so it's not as if it's one out. And Wigan Warriors, a very steady start, very patient start, composed start, and they're playing to the script, according to Adrian Lamb.
They
do go wide. They do go wide, Bill, sorry, often in their own half, and maybe Williams wants it here. A number of times they've passed it wide to the left and broken free from here.
Williams lobs the pass to Liam Farrell. Warrington holding their line. Nowhere for Farrell to go. So Williams on the last puts the kick in. It's a good one. And it's fielded by Ratchford close to his own try line. He then invites Lynham to have a run. Meanders towards the middle of the field as Tom Lynham.
Well, that kick was just about distance and trying to trap it behind the try line. And Warrington in this set, they have been low risk every time that they're taking the ball away from their own try lines. Those yardage plays, you can see Chris Hill again just putting his hand up, taking the ball forward. Aquala getting set on the right-hand side of the ruck.
There is Aquala. Oh, and he leaves Liam Farrell on the deck.
He explodes into the tackle, doesn't he, Aquala?
And then Darrell Clark is there to pick up the pieces. Oh, Ratchford had overshot. That's the 5th tackle. Wigan regrouping. Matty Smith then lobs that one into the corner. Bevan French is underneath it and manages just to get out of trouble.
Yeah, does a decent job, doesn't he? Got some speed as well, and just nice and calm when he took that ball, knowing that he was under some pressure. His quality, isn't he? Wing, full-back, covering number positions. There goes Marshall.
Almost through. It was Aquala who just got a hold of his shirt, I think, in the nick of time. But Gildart has pace as well. 2 speedsters. Warrington struggling to contain them at the moment. And Powell, Livett can't get a hold of him. Powell into the Warrington half. That's the 5th tackle. Here is Luluai. Hanging kick over the head of Lynham, who goes back towards his own try line.
Well, this is a fitness and conditioning drill, this one, isn't it? Set for set for set. We heard some stats from Brian in the studio. Eddie Gardner, the conditioner at Warrington, talking about the speeds, the distances, the impacts that the players go through. Well, we've had 13 minutes of set for set, and it's who gives up first.
It's Warrington with Goodwin. 4 tackles gone this set. That ball looked forwards, it was.
Just forward, wasn't it? Jake Marmo just pushing up with Jason Clark.
Clark's got a bang. On early, Jason Clark.
Yeah, just on the field as well. I think that was his first touch.
It's a shame that for Jake Mammo. Tremendous work. Is he playing on the right wing? put himself in the middle of the field, though, didn't he, to take the pass there from him, from his teammate.
He catches an ear, doesn't he? He's going down Jason Clark, accidentally clashes with Oliver Partington.
Take your time, Jason. Take your time. It's all right, don't worry.
The referee's saying take your time.
Takes a lot to put Jason Clark out of the game.
He's a tough one, isn't he? He's a tough one.
He's missed only 2 of the 28 games in his debut season. And Steve Price, he must wince every time one of his players even suggests he's got a knock.
Yeah, I would imagine that coaches and players are trying to put that to the back of their mind. All 3 of us on a gantry here, we've all been involved in those games before finals where you can't not.
Hang on, you are referring to him and him, aren't you?
Present company excluded, Bill, but you can't afford to go into it less than 100%. And all the coaches thinking is, I'm going to get my Formula 1 race cars, my big super trucks with their engine red hot and revving.
What about Stewart?
Yeah, he's been involved in big games.
4 out of the 5 of us then. 80% of us on this panel have been involved in games before big games.
Well, that's good ball from Sargentson, finds Bevan French, and French cutting infield, and it's cut down. Referee said it's 6 to go, and so the pressure is on Warrington here now, and it's with French once more. Bryson Goodwin is a mess. There's blood pouring from his head in that original tackle, I think, on Bevan French. Oh dear, that's... What's he caught there? Ratchford's elbow? Somebody's elbow.
Yeah, it looks like it comes off. Is it French's elbow first of all?
Take your time, mate.
It looks like he'll be going off, getting in stitches, wearing a skull cap next week. Bryson Goodwin,
that's the last thing you want.
So influential, isn't he? That's when I think he's been a tremendous player.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Joining South Sydney, of course, for next season. Been a good player, good acquisition.
Time.
Steve Price looking on concernedly, looking on interestedly. Justin Holbrook, Richard Marshall, Paul Wellens, St Helens contingent here.
There you go, that woke Paul Wellens up, didn't it? As soon as the crowd started booing, as they were shown on the big screen.
And Steve Price
loves it.
He's going to put one on his chops. Well, look at him, he's got no friends at all, has he? He's at the home of his biggest enemy in Wigan, and obviously a final against the Warrington Wolves. Have another go, Pricey. Come on, Lammy.
Isn't it brilliant? Isn't this Graham? Brilliant.
Excellent. It's not so excellent for poor old Bryson Goodwin, meanwhile.
Sorry, yeah, back to the injury.
Of course, Warrington, St Helens then. Wembley next week. Let's hope Bryson Goodwin's okay to be there. He's just going to get patched up at the moment. No suggestion he's going to come off for stitches. They're going to have to change his shirt, though, aren't they?
Well, he should have a shirt change. There's clearly blood on there.
You know, the play to get Wigan in this corner was sensational backline, wasn't it? Dan Sargentson, I think we may see at half-time the highlights, tipped it on to French. It dries out to Wigan, continue to spread this ball. They're really going to stretch Warrington's defence.
Well, here's Smithies now. And Wigan with plenty of tackles in the bag to try and break this Warrington defence and get the first points on the board in this game, coming up to the 15-minute mark. And it's with Williams, took that standing still. Smithies now. He inches towards the Warrington line. Clubb is the dummy runner. It's with Luluai. Luluai onto Williams. Williams, the hard-acre over the top, and Bevan French will get his first try in Wigan colours, finishing off that sweet, slick warrior move. It was handed to him on a plate. Still a bit of a finish to make as he squeezed in at the corner. But the former prolific Parramatta Eels try scorer is off the mark in the Betfred Super League.
We're looking to execute the right play from over on the left-hand side. They shift the ball to the right. And you could see that, I think it was Dick Patton who gets up or Matty Smith, sorry, he gets up quick. He's hoping to force Wigan back on the inside, and then all of a sudden he's backing off and puts pressure on the outside men. And Bevan French, well, everyone's talking about how quick he is, how good of a finisher he is. Well, that's a good ball from Zach Hardacre.
Well, we watched St Helens last night. They demolished the Leeds Rhinos. And Warrington Wolves with it all to do here. 15 minutes. They've gone blow for blow, set for set. And the moment that Wigan get a little glance at the try line of Warrington Wolves, the skill, the pace, the power and the patience of Bevan French to hug his chalk, hug the touchline, catch and pouch and score that try.
Zach Hardacre with a 79% success rate with the boot this season, 72 from 91 from the Wigan fullback. This from the sideline, and that's another success. 6-0, Wigan leads.
Well, in the build-up to this game, before the show, we looked at 4 tries that Warrington recently conceded in their last 4 games. Every one of them looked a bit like this, and that's something that Warrington need to fix tonight, and need to fix for the rest of 2019 here, because the teams are making it too regular occurrence. The ease with which the wingman can dive in the corner untouched.
Time's off, Tony.
To be fair, I don't know if Bryson Goodwin, just recovering from that knock a few moments ago, was slow off the mark maybe on that side, but he is still out there as Ratchford restarts. So Wigan looking to get their first win of the season against Warrington, having been beaten 3 times by them this campaign.
And you can see that, can't you? You can see that they've got that focus, the discipline in attack and defence. 10 sets of possession, 10 times they've got to the kick. They're making Warrington work extra hard defensively. So far, Warrington Wolves are over 100 tackles already as a team.
Well, for Wigan also, there's the small matter of Warrington eliminating them from the Challenge Cup, and there could be more points on here because Williams has made the break, and French could have a second. Oh, no, he won't. Williams will have his first. A first of the night. And it's back-to-back tries for the Wigan Warriors. And try number 13 for the season for George Williams. And again, it was on that Warrington left-hand side they were undone.
And isn't it great to see that player roaming around the field, not locking himself in on this left-hand side where he's got great support with Farrell and Gildart, but he comes over, he's got that skip, he's got that acceleration, and look at the decision-making process here. He knows that the body language of Stephen Ratchford is going towards the support player, so he shows the ball, pulls it back in, and has the quality to score that try.
He skinned a really good defender there in Daryl Clark, and I think that what he does there is brilliant, because he's got Bevan French. He's looking, he's showing him the ball. Stephen Ratchford doesn't know whether to bite in and go for George Williams or go for Bevan French. Good play, backs himself and scores the try.
And Hardacre with pretty straightforward conversion attempt for him. George Williams, you'd almost expect him to offload that because he's the most try assists for Wigan for the 5th year in a row, the most offloads for Wigan. And Bevan French was probably anticipating it as well.
Well, it's 10 games since Wigan last played Warrington in the Super League, of course at Anfield in the Magic Weekend. The only difference between the two sides, in my opinion, that day was the standoff who played for the Wolves, Blake Hostin. He scored a sensational solo try early-ish in the second half, and it took the game away from Wigan. George Williams, this is far earlier in the match, might have just separated the distance between these sides. It's 12 at the moment. Warrington can't allow it to grow.
Wigan in the lead in 3 meetings with the Wolves this season. Until now, they had led for just 4 of 240 minutes. Well, they are in the lead here, 12-0, coming up to 20 minutes on the clock. And Warrington are struggling to keep a grip on the Warriors at the moment. It's Partington who plays the ball.
Okay, through.
And again, they go to that side of the field, and it's with Sargentson now as he cuts in, then weaves through and gives the ball to French. And look at this man go, French. That's forward, says the referee.
Is it obstruction? I think he said he's run behind one of his teammates here. He's given a penalty here.
Oh.
End of the ball.
Warrington look like they're overloading the right-hand side, and someone's not quite working hard enough. And Thomas Luluai does a decent job, and you can see
who's
that.
obstructed?
Has he been penalised for that?
It's Tommy Luluai that's in the defensive line.
That's what he's been penalised for.
That's what he's penalised for. That's what he explained on the field.
You know, you actually look at, is there been a defender
There's no defender obstructed.
taken out? There's not, has there?
Well, there's a defender that goes across to Tommy Luluai, who's in front of the defender, or who's in the defensive line in front of the player. So that's where the obstruction will be.
Good challenge. Oliver Partington up on the Warrington enforcer, taking metres off them in defence.
And Chris Hill's scrum cap is left on the ground in the middle of the field as a result of that challenge. Here is Jason Clark. Seems to have recovered from that knock earlier on. Warrington looking to respond. Patton now across the field to Matty Smith. Hill. There's Clark again. Fifth tackle.
Big cries of forward then from the Wigan fans.
Patton's little kick. The ball will drop maybe to Levett. He couldn't quite get there. And Powell was able to bat the ball over the line.
Nearly, wasn't it, for Harvey Levett? Decent kick over the top. Harvey Levett, he thinks he's got it. And it's Sam Powell who comes to the rescue. Well, the crowd screaming for forward from that pass from Cooper.
I think he got it right there. Sometimes the angles of passes and the position of the arms can be deceiving, but Warrington, they need a slice of luck, they need some field position, and they're going to have a look at Wigan's line now, if they can get over the ball.
That's gone all the way.
Poor mistake from a dropout.
Yep, they're going to have to work that little bit harder now.
That's 20 metres you've lost that from that bouncing ball that goes back. You've got to readjust. You can't crash onto the ball here like Mike Cooper's trying to do.
Well, they're into Wigan territory. 2 tackles gone. And here's Matty Smith. Smith looking to try and wrong foot the Wigan defence. Hill onto Patton. Patton across the field. Levett can't take the pass.
It's a shame and all for the Wolves. He was in space, just a little bit behind. Good defensive attitude from Wigan. Players in the right places. It was the smallest of gaps at the side of Smithies, but I think the big shadow of Tony Clubb, should I say, just does enough.
Would you agree it's a bad pass, Barry?
It's behind him, yeah. Here's the dropout that bounces. All those meters wasted. I think you said it, Bill, they had to work an extra tackle or two to almost get back to the position where they should have caught the ball.
More Super League coming up tomorrow, 4:55. Sky Sports mix it is for the Catalan Dragons against the London Broncos. Join Barry and Ben Pro for that one. So Wigan leading. And looking for more points. The ball lobbed over the top to Bevan French, but that was high.
It was a little clip, wasn't it? Matty Smith puts his hand up straight away. Hasn't he got good footwork, Bevan French? You know, if you're defending against him, you don't want to be flat-footed. You want to make sure that you're on your toes, you're moving forward. Look at this, bouncing along, beats Tom Lynham, beats Matty Smith, goes on the inside yet. No complaints there.
So the penalty conceded, and Warrington retreating towards their own try line. Here is Romain Navarrete now, one of the bench players for Wigan tonight. So into the action, Wigan looking for another penalty as Navarrete tried to get to his feet. Chris Hill's got his scrum cap back on. Here is Liam Farrell. Powell sweeps the ball to Luluai. Smithies plays it bang in front of those posts. Luluai's short pass. Willie Isa wrapped up by the tackle of Jason Clark, but Thomas Luluai just trying to poach a try there, maybe gets the pass away. Partington. Levett with the tackle. Hardacre puts the brakes on. Livette can't keep a hold of him, and Hardacre drifting across the park puts a kick in, and it's going to come up for Wigan in the end, and it's going to come up for Hardacre, and Hardacre is going to get a fortuitous try for the Wigan Warriors. The referee has not awarded it yet, but I reckon that's going to count.
Tackle 5, I've got a try.
Ben Thaler does
back,
2. What does Chris Kendall think?
I don't think there's a problem here. Zach Hardacre, the man who gets over the try line. See the ball's kicked forward. The ball's knocked back then. Zach Hardacre.
Yeah, he wants to check for offside when the ball's kicked forward here. I think you can see, is it Tommy Lulai that kicks the ball forward? I don't think there's a problem before that. Everybody's onside from the kick before. Everybody's behind the line, convenient line there. But it's this one off the ground. Is Sargentson in front? I think you can see by the cut of the grass, he's got his feet behind the cut of the grass. So that's going to be fine.
Yeah, there's not an issue. I didn't think there was anything wrong when all the ball was going on the ground and Thomas Lulai's kicked it forward. It comes off Bryson Goodwin.
Is the fact that Bevan French is within 10 have got any relevance?
Not in this case, because he's not interfering with play. I think Lynham actually trips him up as he's going forward. But there's nothing wrong with this. This will be confirmed.
Hardacre hoping that his 9th try of the season will be confirmed by the video ref, Chris Kendall. That it is. And Zach Hardacre making the most of that ricochet and the chance that then came his way, and Wigan extend their leads.
Well, they certainly are playing the percentages. The right area of the field, they've only made one mistake in the opening 25 minutes, and Zach Hardacre looking to get back to the form that he was in 2017 when he was nominated in the top 3 for the Steve Prescott Man of Steel award.
Takes a breath, composes himself, and should contribute 2 more points to Wigan's tally tonight, which is rising. Warrington not having the best of opening quarters in this one.
But little things add up to big things. Harvey Livette drops the ball from a bad pass from Petton. Then Matt Smith concedes a penalty for a high tackle. They've done that too often as well. They get themselves near to their own try line. And then the brilliance of instinctive attacking play here. Nice footwork there from Hardacre as well. Skips inside, doesn't need to throw the pass. And they've got a commanding lead, 18 points with 26 minutes to go. Warrington's character here now and composure. They are behind. There's lots of time left in the game, but they need to find a better fighting spirit, and they certainly need to find some points.
Actually, that was great work from Dan Sargentson. Very quick thinking to just flick that ball up into Hardacre's path. 18-0. Wigan lead.
And Wigan at first to those bouncing balls. It doesn't matter whether it's a pass that goes astray or it's a ricocheted kick. The Wigan Warriors, they're getting down, putting their bodies in front, and when they're carrying the ball forward, they're looking to win collision, win contact, and play the ball as quick as they can for their teammate coming at the back.
Over the 40-metre line come the Wigan Warriors. And now Gildart puts the brakes on, skipping until Livette gets a hold of him. Here's Lulai now on the last, manages to scramble the kick away under a bit of pressure, and it's Ratchford.
He's got nowhere to go, has he? Stephen Ratchford, he looks up, there's a cherry and white wall in front of him. Oh, again, Tom Lynham looks to carry the ball forward, does a decent job though to get down and play the ball quickly though. They're just looking for that quick play of the ball. We saw dangerous Darrell Clark, he's on a quick play of the ball before when they broke up the middle, but it's just been too slow around the ruck area.
Cooper is able to get the pass away to Clark. Clark into the middle of the field, but then it's Jason Clark.
Play on.
It's play on, says the referee. There was a Wigan hand in there, presumably.
It's an attempted steal, Bill, and then Ben Curry, quick, eager to get possession back, and Warrington just about approaching the 35-40 metre line. Dan Sargentson, he has a go. He just can't keep hold of it.
Here's Hill now. So this is the best position Warrington have been in for some considerable time in Wigan territory. Matty Smith, but Smith just delayed the pass too long, and look at Morgan Smithies.
Well, that is what you call putting pressure on from the inside from the youngster.
That's called cheek, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, wait till that Liam Byrne gets on. You will see some cheek as well then.
Here's Patton now.
Pressure ball players. Don't let them call the shots, Bill.
Matty Smith now. Ratchford just keeps a hold of it. Here's Livett, Matty Smith on the last will kick crossfield towards Bevan French's wing. The ball's batted down, but it's into the hands of the wingman. But they're quickly up on him, Tom Lynham. The referee says, let's have there's a knock on there.
Yeah, Warrington knocked the ball on, so they'll bring it up to the 10-metre mark.
Go. Hand over.
Well, they're defending well, aren't they, the Warriors? I don't think that Warrington have thrown enough or asking enough questions of them.
It's their energy, Wigan. It's the way that they're carrying, the speed in their legs. They look, I know that both teams will probably be at the same level of fitness and conditioning, but Wigan look a little bit fitter.
There he is.
The player that Terry O'Connor was talking about, Liam Byrne. He will throw himself into this game.
Ratchford fields that deep kick. Liam Byrne on, he's in 19, he'll turn 20 on Sunday. He's been on the bench for the last 4 games as the young Irish international.
It's unusual for Warrington here. We're seeing offloads. They're great at it. They're doing it often. None of the teammates seem to be interested in it.
Pretty static. Here's Philbin, a bit like Byrne and Smithies.
He's not static.
No, he's not.
It's like a cannonball.
Patton. Clark. 20 metres out. And Darryl Clark puts a little kick in. Oh, everything's sitting up nicely for the Wigan Warriors. That's set up for George Williams, and he gets the ball to Hardacre. Philby makes the tackle.
Yeah, you've got to get them right. If you go in at the line and you're trying to thread it through the defensive line, Darryl Clark tries to get it past George Williams. He can't do that, and Williams is there to react, and here goes Oliver Gilder. Such good footwork.
Wigan are probing, they really are. They're just looking for the lazy Warrington defender, and Bevan French might have found that gap. Oh, this is the pace that takes him there.
I think this is a try.
Yeah, he's got that. He slides
over the line, yeah.
Tackle 3.
Wonderful acceleration from Bevan French.
Just make sure it's not lost, please,
like
while he's going along the ground.
He has tired defenders in front of him, and it's a magnificent effort from Ben Curry, the big number 11 for Warrington Wolves. I think back to that Challenge Cup final against Hull FC. Tackle 52. Well, unfortunately, I believe, on this occasion...
No, he's lost it.
And that's what Ben Thayer asked him to look at. Was there a knock-on as he went over the line? And I think you can just see there...
Is that not forward then from
loose.
Curry?
No, I think he's lost possession. He's got to retain possession there when he hits the ground.
Even though he pats it out with the right hand?
Well, I'm not so sure he does. Still in possession at that point. It's there. When he hits the ground, the ball comes out. This will be overturned.
Well, it is a magnificent effort from Ben Curry.
It's quality, wasn't it? Look at this. He's come over from the right-hand side. He's come over to the left. That explosive footwork that I talked about before. He has the speed. Look at that. It's like he's in fast-forward mode when he goes around Stephen Ratchford. But well done, Ben Curry. That tackle from Ben Curry, I think, has kept him in the game.
It is no try for Bevan French, looking for his second of the game, his second for the club, but that is an indication of the threat that he brings to this Wigan side.
And what Wigan seems to have done, they spent the first 20 minutes stretching their opponents. They spent the last 10 minutes with fast players like French and Marshall and Sargentson running down the middle of the field with those big men. Barry pointed out how this was a very fast, aerobically demanding game. The big men couldn't cope there when French picked that up. They looked like they were stuck in treacle, didn't they, as he shot forward.
There could be more of that to come. Ooh, that's a penalty.
Yeah, just a little bit too high there from
Zach Hardaker it was.
He broke from the back of the scrum.
Calm down.
Zach Hardaker, who's had a few key involvements in this game. His form is pretty good. There you go, he just starts around about the chest area, ends up shoulders, neck and head.
He went for Mamo there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is it something he said? Penalty, a relieving penalty for Warrington, who have Ben Westwood on the field, still 38 years of age.
Hands up that ball, Morgan.
Philbin now, rumbustious player. Just will not give in. And that's given Warrington a bit of a platform. That was suspiciously looked like somebody was upended there. It's Darryl Clark, I think.
Yeah, but fair play to him, Bill. He's got up, he's played his ball, gets on with the game. It felt like Luluai had upended.
Well, he's looking for the offload, isn't he, Ben Westwood?
Yeah, he's trying to, you can see what he's trying to do, can't you? He's watched his side struggle for 30 minutes. He thinks, I'll get on, I'll punch some holes in the defence and I'll try and work some of those really smart, cute offloads. Here's the tackle. Thomas Luluai does this a lot.
That's
he
a
chops
penalty,
players
yeah.
in half.
Stuart.
And that's what I was saying, yeah. There was a feeling when it happened in full speed that there might have been something wrong with it, but fair play to Darryl Clark, gets up.
But it is a dangerous tackle. He's ended up coming down on his head.
I agree, I think.
And you can see there that there's a clear lift, and he goes down on his shoulders.
I agree, but he's played on.
Well done to him.
I'm glad you agree, Stuart.
NRL action coming up on Sky Sports tomorrow at 8:30 AM on Sky Sports Arena as Melbourne take on Canberra, followed by Souths against Canterbury at 10:35 on the same channel. Very convenient. Here's Byrne now. Have some of that, says Philbin. I beg your pardon, it's Clark as
Jason
well.
Clark.
Early kick. Comes out from acting half, kicks it long metres downfield, and you can see there Tom Lynham behind his own line has to field that kick and try and get somewhere near that 20-metre line. And just see it there, a metre or so in front of his head.
But that's not only difficult for Tom Lynham, who's got to go back and get the ball, along with Jake Mamo here. When the ball goes over your head, when you're playing in the middle of the field and you're asked to keep carrying the ball, you've got to get back behind the ball to bring it forward. And it does really play in the mental part of the game.
Toby King now playing the ball. Another of the players brought back into the side tonight by Warrington coach Steve Price. Several of them who sat out last week. Philbin. Luluai flung him to the ground and then stood over him.
Well, that's why we normally see Joe Philbin just running as hard as he can instead of passing.
Hardaker fields that kick and finds a good Warrington chase in front of him. 20-metre line of football markings on the pitch for tomorrow's game. Athletics hosting Leeds United. Here is Gildarts. Wigan again building from deep.
Anytime you see a winger or a centre go in behind dummy half, you've got to make sure as a marker you try and split forward. If not come from the wing to pass the ball, they're going to run.
Here's Luluai again with the kicking duties. That one is charged down, comes straight back to Tommy Luluai, and it's still on the last. And Luluai, a beautiful kick for Marshall. Oh, Marshall couldn't gather it.
He just wanted that perfect bounce, didn't he, Liam Marshall? He thought, I'll be patient, hopefully it'll pop up into my arms.
Do you know,
and it's a cruel mistress, the rugby league ball.
He's a winner, isn't he, Thomas Luluai? And the reason why they've signed him on for another year is because obviously they're losing George Williams to the NRL. They want some stability in the side, in those half-back positions. And when he can still read players like that, that's the reason why they've signed him. Look at this, the vision. He's all of a sudden, he's looking over his left shoulder. He gets a perfect kick away, but he just can't score the try, Marshall.
just didn't sit up as he wanted it, Liam Marshall, and the chance, the challenge dribbled away.
And the Wolves clinging on, aren't they? We've seen the try when Ben Curry saved it with that tackle, the missed chance there for Liam Marshall. Here's an attempted 40-20 from Deckpan.
It's a good kick, but it hasn't quite got the legs, and Hardacre will come across and pick it off.
Shoulder.
Patton so close. Could have done with that.
Go, play on.
Instead, Wigan are coming again. Williams plays the ball. Farrell up to the halfway line, runs into Ben Westwood and Jason Clark. Powell with a good run. 4 tackles gone. He's with Liam Farrell now. Wigan again driving into the heart of that Warrington defence. The ball with Williams, and Williams this time opts to just hit the sideline.
Well, they'll be quite happy going to the half-time break with an 18-point advantage. Keeping it nice and simple, congregating around the ball, around the centre of the field. Everyone just putting their hands up, rushing forward, trying to get that roll on, and Adrian Lamb knows that it's a decent job from his side in the first 40 minutes. Steve Price knows, well, he needs to come up with a decent team talk that'll inspire his side to come out and have a real go the following 40 minutes.
A couple of minutes of this first half to go. Here is Jake Mamo. And now Philbin. Wigan stopping his progress on the 20-metre line. Now Jason Clark spins away.
Smithers again. And we've talked about him a few times. He has that level of aggression that this club demands, and sometimes it skirts close to the line and sometimes it's over. He has done more defending, more tackles than anyone else, and probably on the field.
Probably more carries as well.
Yeah,
Barry.
And not just the number of tackles, the impact in those tackles as well.
Yeah, right, think of.
The Halifax-born youngster gets a ticking off from Ben Thaler.
Well, it gives Warrington a real chance here now. They kick to touch, they'll get the ball in their opponent's half. They've got over a minute, they've got time for 6 plays, and they need some magic. They don't have Blake Austin, they need somebody here now. They've shown nothing really that would threaten Wigan's line so far, but they've got a chance to do it. It would dramatically change the half-time talk.
It's Ben Westwood. Yes, Wigan haven't seen much of their own try line in terms of defending. Goodwin, that's cut on his head, still strapped. Matty Smith now. Philbin, strong run from him. Darryl Clark. Matty Smith now. Patton and Harvey Livett. That was obstruction again.
Yeah, obstruction. And Jason Clark's the man who's penalised. When the halves are going at the line, they are dragging defenders, and you can see there's always going to be some overchase. You want to get to the man who's skirting across your line, but you can't stand in the line as well.
It was Matty Smith that was in the line there. I think Clark got through the line, so he was okay, but Matty Smith stayed in it.
So that's a rare opportunity for Warrington gone begging.
I think their attack looks terrible. The Hooter saves them here, but looks like a pre-season game for me. So disjointed.
Well, Wigan haven't been disjointed. And Bevan French in the side in the absence of Joe Burgess, who's injured, making the most of his opportunity. And his try, among others, has given Steve Price and the Warrington Wolves quite a problem to address at half-time. How do they turn the tide? Because it has been flowing in the cherry and white direction throughout that first 40 minutes. And Bevan French, 1 try to his name. He could have had 2 had it not been for Ben Curry's superb tackle, because Wigan are on top here.
rugby union matches for you tomorrow on Sky Sports 2 from the Rugby Championship. It all starts at 8 a.m. on Sky Sports Action. It's the Bledisloe Cup decider between New Zealand and Australia. Same channel at 1:15 in the build-up to the World Cup. Wales meet England for the second time in a week. And then the day closes at 3:55 p.m. when South Africa, the newly crowned Rugby Championship winners, taking on Argentina from Pretoria. We are at the DW Stadium in Wigan. It is half-time in round 26 of the Betfred Super League. And look at this scoreline. The reigning champions, the Wigan Warriors, have hunted down the second-place Warrington Wolves and have established an 18-0 half-time lead. And many good judges would think they could have had more points in that first half. They have absolutely dominated the side heading to Wembley next week for the Challenge Cup final. Let's have a look at the first half statistics. It shows an 86% completion rate for the Wigan Warriors, just 74 for the Warrington Wolves, 4 handling errors for them. Tackles missed, just 9 for the home side, 16 for the Wolves, and meters made over 150 more by the Wigan Warriors. Right, let's take you into the dressing rooms here at the DW Stadium. Wigan Warriors coach Adrian Lamb, Kevin Brown, said this was a game they were targeting, the 4th meeting between these sides this season, and they were desperate to lay down a marker against Warrington. They have.
The young lads we spoke about have really done what we expected. They've targeted Chris Hill, they've roughed him up. And I think Adrian will be in there now just saying more of the same. You don't need to go away from the game plan. I'm pretty sure they're trying to expose behind our rucks and then go wide off the back of that.
Well, we got a good glimpse of that when Bevan French went through, but for a Ben Curry tackle, he would have scored. Steve Price patrolling the dressing rooms here. Who will be the dominant voices from the playing group in this dressing room at half-time?
Oh yeah, obviously the captain Chris Hill, he'll demand more of his teammates. Steph Ratchford in there talking to the coach as we see. But I think there'll be a few questions asked by a variety. The left edge will probably get together because they've been exposed a couple of times. But I just think, the defence that we spoke about, that is Steve Price's mantra, his DNA that he calls it, is, we're being exposed at the minute. We've missed 16 tackles. So I'm sure that's something that we're really talking about and focusing on in the second half.
And you point out that left edge defence for the Warrington Wolves. Wigan's right edge attack scored the opening try. Bevan French crossing for his first Wigan try. Doesn't he look electric?
He does. Every time he got the ball, we said the anticipation of the crowd, and he's matched that with what he's produced. He's been electrifying, and I think this try here from George Williams was very similar to the try he scored last week. He does sort of a goose step. He jumps up in the air and puts that defender on the heels and finishes it off great there.
George Williams popping up on the other side of the field, usually locked in on the left, scoring that on the right. Zach Hardacre moves from left to right, puts in a kick, fortuitous ricochet. Tommy Luluai kicks again, and then Tom Lynham can't scoop it up. Zach Hardacre goes over. That makes it 18-0 after 24 minutes. Then we got a really good look at what Wigan are trying to do behind the ruck and how quick Bevan French is.
Yeah, and there's no way he should get through there, and the speed to just go around Stephen Ratchford. But what I will say is Ben Curry there, the speed he's shown as a back rower to prevent the try and turn the ball over is exceptional, and they're the type of efforts we need more in the second half if we're going to have a say in this game.
Yeah, Terry O'Connor said in the commentary he felt that try-saving tackle from Ben Curry has kept the Warrington Wolves in this game. Let's cross down to John Wells at the touchscreen to get his thoughts on a very dominant first half display from the home side, John.
Yeah, half-time focus is, of course, on Wigan. It was 2 minutes, though, that up until then was nip and tuck that blew the game open. 2 tries, the first from Bevan French, the second from George Williams. I'm going to pick this up a couple of plays early to point out one particular thing here. And George Williams is taking up a familiar position just at the on the short side here, and he's got options and players. He's got his foil Liam Farrell outside him. So have a look at what Darrell Clark does here and how hard he works out this side of the ruck to make sure that the player here does not end up biting in on George Williams and opening a gap for Liam Farrell. Just a little bit of work that they've done in the training field. Look how hard he works on his inside shoulder, just to make sure his players do not bite in. We left that on. This play unfolds now, and they turn the ball back up on the inside, and then it's just a straight challenge. They have the additional number for Zach Hardacre, the natural advantage that they would have with a roaming fullback in the line. But it's the first pass cuts out 2 defenders, and then if I'm a coach, I'm looking at that and I'm worried because the third man in, Matty Smith, has got in front of his defender. You add that to a great lead line here from Willie Isa, and he has to commit to that area of the field. He can't leave. He leaves He's centering his wing partner, floundering 3-on-2. Zach Harder picks the right man. Bevan French records his first try in Super League. Just quickly to have a look at George Williams. Fantastic try, but again, it's game planning the build up to this. They're putting Willie Isa and firing him into Matty Smith, and they're doing that to try and get a middleman to go on the short side. That's Darrell Clark. Now they're working on that short side area. So they've got a guy who's defending now on the edge against fast-paced players in Darrell Clark. And they've got that space there for George Williams. We've got another angle of that, but that's essentially the nuts and bolts of that try. Exceptional try by George Williams, really well played by him. And as I said, just more game plan there, moving players around, positions of the field they're unfamiliar with. Advantage Wigan.
Yeah, maybe more than advantage Wigan, being demolished in that first half. They look a ragtag bunch, I will say, for a side that's preparing for Wembley. How does this second half go?
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't go anything like that. I think we just sort of conceded the ruck too soon, and if we can slow that ruck down, then we have a chance.
Okay, they may still have a chance. Just 18-0 has that Ben Curry try-saver kept the Warrington Wolves in the game. They're going to have to come up with something special in this second half. It has been dominated by the reigning champions, the home side, the Wigan Warriors, looking for 7 consecutive wins here at the DW Stadium. Can they make it? Find out after the break.
Wigan Warriors pretty much in control at half-time then against the Warrington Wolves, a side who have beaten the Warriors 3 times already this season, including eliminating them from the Challenge Cup, and that is next on the agenda for the Warrington Wolves after this. But of course, they have the small matter of trying to secure second place in the table. They're doing it without Blake Austin tonight. Will they have to do it at Wembley without their star performer this season? In fact, the star performer, one of them in the Betfred Super League, out with an ankle injury, and Warrington have missed Blake Austin tonight, and Wigan have dominated so far. I was trying to think of a Warrington scoring opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I can't think of one really. They've got to somehow try and change the flow of this game. This Warrington side, they're not having their position, they're not having it their own way when they get up there. What can happen? Then Murdoch-Masila on the field. Big Ben trying to make his impact and his presence felt.
Well, they need some impact, and they're getting it from Philbin there with a good run. Isa eventually getting hold of an ankle and stopping him, but that's a positive start. Here's Ben Curry up to the halfway line. Now Darrell Clark and Ben Westwood just had to pause and pick that up, but gets the pass away. Good offload from the veteran. Here is Darrell Clark now. More positivity in the opening set in this second half than for much of the first from this Warrington side. And here's Matty Smith, and then Smith hoists that kick towards Bevan French's wing, and then he claims it and loops the ball into the path of fullback Zach Hardager.
Well, 70 metres carrying the ball. That was one of the better sets, but let's see what they're like now and what the focus is in defence. They've carried the ball well the first set. They've got to defend there, be disciplined, don't give a penalty away.
So Liam Marshall plays the ball. Well, let's see what the focus was for the two coaches at half-time. We'll join Jenna Brooks on the sidelines.
Adrian Lamb came out of the dressing room with a big smile on his face. He said that he was pleased with the opening 40 minutes. He's asked his players to start the second half the same as the first. As far as Steve Price goes, well, he was not pleased, as you can imagine. He said that tackle management must improve. Wigan are doing everything faster. They have more intent. They're tackling harder, running harder. His halftime message was, well, quite frankly, a big improvement was needed.
Mamo claiming that kick, but that's a good follow-up from Farrell and Gildart. So will we see more intent from this Warrington side, more defensive intent? is Philbin again. He's run strongly.
And they're the sort of runs that you need, like Jenna was just saying, that Steve Price wants his side to run hard, tackle hard. Well, they're the sort of players that you need.
Play on. It's Stefan Ratchford in the knees. When that ball was offloaded, it was too low. He let it bounce off his knees, and here's Harvey Levett.
Wigan, I think, thinking that the whistle was going to go in their favour, and Warrington playing on as referee Ben Thaler instructed. Here's Toby King now. That's the 5th tackle. It's with Ratchford, who lost that kick towards Hardacre, and the fullback claims that one pretty comfortably.
Well, he does well, doesn't he? But I can't really remember an attacking kick going up where they can challenge for the ball, compete, make Zach Hardacre feel uncomfortable. He just, every time the ball goes up, he looks okay, doesn't he? And I'm sure this lad, Bevan French, is going to be a real crowd favourite here.
Is Sargentson weaving out of trouble, and Ben Westwood eventually makes the tackle.
You have to say this, though, at least Warrington looked like a top 5 team here in the first 4 or 5 minutes of this second half. Look, better defence, run far stronger, and the coach's words have certainly had an impact. Look, they're going to give this a chance. They're going to give the best here now for the supporters who've travelled here now, in hope that this will be a win. They forced a mistake, perhaps the hand on the ball there. But they've got to take their opportunities here, ride the luck, and post some points.
Whose hand's in there?
Ben Murdoch-Masila. Yeah.
Well,
sent on to change the game, Bill. Well, he's forced an error. It is illegal, but he's got away with it. That penalty could have gone against Warrington. They could have been back defending in their own half, but they've got the ball here.
Morgan Smithies had his pocket pick there. And Warrington have possession. And it's with Ben Westwood. Winds up for a tilt. Smithies with the tackle, Navarrete on his shoulder. And here's Patton! And that is what Warrington needed at the start of this second half.
Was he short? Was he short when he goes down?
Oh, I agree, Tess.
You think it's a double movement?
I don't know whether he loses control.
He doesn't get to the line, Bill.
I don't know whether he loses control, Dick Patton.
He sees the gap, he goes for it. I think as he's going down to get over the line, I think he drops it.
Well, for the good of the game, I hope Warrington Wolves can at least get the first score in the second half to make it competitive. There you go.
Oh, wow. How much
What is the
control
ruling on that, Stuart?
Well, the first thing to say is that it was no try on the field. Sent up as no try. So, yeah, I think his hand comes away from the ball before that goes over the line. So therefore, given that it was no try on the field,
look at the tip of the ball. He's still got contact, Stuart.
He hasn't got possession. His hand has come off the ball. He doesn't have possession of it.
What about his forearm?
His forearm isn't possession. He's got to be hold. If the ball's already on the ground and he puts his forearm on it, that's fine. But he's got to maintain possession of that ball with his hand.
Well, we both felt, didn't we, Tez, when that ball was on the floor, not in the possession of Dick Patton. He got up and he celebrated. He did his best to kid and con everybody here, but the most important bloke in the stadium, Ben Thaler, passed it on to the second most important person in the stadium, Chris Kendall, and they've scratched it off. What a shame for Warrington Wolves.
So close, Dick Patton.
Was that the touch judge then who helped the referee notify him from the far side? He didn't think it was a try.
It was. Touch judge on the far side, who should have seen the ball steal in the first place, has then ended up with that. That's all. That's a good call from him.
Well,
it's a game of inches.
That's the closest Warrington have come.
Well, it's the chance. Maybe it's the lift that they need, the confidence boost. Well, those two are certainly helping, and lending their considerable weight in that tackle.
They are. Philbin and Murdoch-Masila have brought a little bit of spark to this Warrington side. Wigan appealing for the penalty. Philbin going scything in there on Sam Powell. Philbin in there again. He's fired up. Smithies on the receiving end, and Thomas Luluai has to kick from deep.
And that was good kick pressure as well from Warrington. Mamo now has a decent chance of beating defenders because where he was catching the ball, not near his try line.
Thomas Luluai, though. Upends Tommy Lynham there. Here's Westwood. And does well to offload. Darryl Clark. Morgan Smithies makes that tackle and goes head-to-head. He's what?
They don't. The youngsters these days, they don't respect anybody, do they?
Oh, spoken like an old man.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Here's Ben Curry.
Mind your neck in, Grandad.
Curry plays the ball. There is a little bit more from Warrington, a little bit of feistiness. That's what they needed. That ball almost claimed by Toby King.
Yeah, you've got to say they're in there competing, aren't they? Can they keep this up for the next 33 minutes? So that's the task from here now. Any team that plays poorly in the first half generally comes out and for 5 or 10 minutes gives it their all. But then when your legs start to feel heavy and maybe one or two things don't go your way, sometimes the heads drop and they don't maintain this intensity. It seems to doesn't be the case. You look driving Wigan back still.
Well, second set of 6 now that they've drove Wigan back. Joe Philbin involved in the tackle and Joe Philbin involved in that tackle as well.
Sargentson it was, I think, who lost the ball, and Warrington have it back again.
Well, Ben Westwood over the top. Sargentson looked to hit a strong hard line, loses it.
And the Warrington fans finding their voices for the first time really tonight, because they sense that their side is showing a little bit of spirit, a bit of defiance here. Here is Philbin. Patton denied a few moments ago. Will he be denied this time? Maybe yet. Another referral to the video ref.
No try.
Oh, again.
No try again from the referee, Ben Fairley. On the same man, Deck Patton. We're looking for double movement here. And Stephen Ratchford just saying to the referee, can we have a look at it at the right speed, please, sir? Willie Eister gets up a bit too quick. And Ben Fairley, well, he thought straight away that it was a double movement.
That's not the best
But here's the speed. This is where you'll see him go over.
I have no problem with that. You know, his momentum keeps going, he ends up over the line. Again, the only problem you're going to get is the on-field call of no try.
It was a no try.
Is there enough in those pictures to overturn the decision that Ben Fairley's made?
Well, there is for me.
His body's still moving. If you look at him when his arm comes up, his body is actually still moving forward as well.
Based on the footage we saw at normal speed, his momentum was keeping going through, and the ball ended up over the line. I think that's a try. And again, the problem why you don't really need to look at these in slow motion is because you will see a pause and you will see the arm put over. You know, because at normal speed, it's just one movement. And while he's still moving, he can promote his arm.
And he is moving forward. If you look here now, when he goes between Eister and Byrne, his body's still going forward. I totally agree with you. I think this is a try.
Ben Thaler's initial decision was no try. Chris Kendall has had a good look and confirms that decision. Steve Price bemused by that, as are a number of people, including Declan Patton.
Well, we commented just at the start of the second half, we couldn't actually recall Warrington Wolves getting anywhere near the try line. Well, so far, in what we had 8.5 minutes of the second half, they've got over the line twice and failed to come away with any points whatsoever.
At half-time, I bumped into a lifelong Warrington fan, and he said to me in the first half, we need some half-backs. Well, I'll tell you what, he's got one out there. Deck Patton certainly made a difference here. Running at the defenders, trying to break through the line, trying to score. He's had 2 attempts. I think it'd be third time lucky if he persists at taking on the defence.
Can Warrington maintain this defiance that they have shown in the opening 9 minutes of this second half? They have come out aside transformed, and they have taken the grip of this game away from Wigan for the moment. Wigan ahead, 18-0 on the scoreboard, but at the moment, the momentum is with Warrington.
Joe Philbin, he's been really good. He's dominant. We normally see him like his big carries, the yards he makes, but he's so physical in defence in this game.
That was Patton with the tackle on Williams. And Gildart now. Toby King brought him down. And it's a safety kick into the corner, and Ratchford watches that one safely over the dead ball line.
Well, that's the sort of kick that they need to get 7 tackles here now. They need that extra tackle to get away from the try line and try and put some more pressure on the Warriors. They have cracked a couple of times. They've got near the try line. They failed to ground the ball, though.
Well, they have grounded the ball. They just haven't grounded it
illegally then.
They haven't. Yeah, right. As this game is going on, I can't stop watching Morgan Smithers, whether he's got the ball or whether he hasn't. He's involved in everything. Such a tender young age for a man to be so dominant in a game between the 2nd place and the 4th place team in the table. 40+ tackles he's done so far. We've only got 50 minutes on the clock.
Joe Greenwood on the field, making that tackle. Here is Philbin, still running strongly. There is Smithers, 38 on his back, making that tackle with Romain Navarrete. That looked forward, but Westwood keeps it going. Here is Ratchford now. Ratchford, Willie Isa quickly up on him.
Yeah, good work, Willie Isa. Good combination, Willie Isa and Thomas Lulaway over on the right-hand side. Very strong defensively.
And then Matty Smith hoists a good kick. The ball batted down, but it's going to come up for Marshall. And Marshall is going to try and get away from Jake Mamo. And Mamo desperately trying to get a hold of his opposite wingman, and if he still can't, Marshall steps out of that challenge.
Brilliant determination from Liam Marshall. What an asset Joe Greenwood is to this Wigan side. Straight onto the field, the big tall man getting involved in attack there as well. He might want to think about his footwork and who he runs at next time. But they've got a wealth of riches in that back row now with Farrell, Isa, Greenwood.
Here is Williams. Wigan breaking the hold that Warrington had on them, and they get the penalty.
Yeah, 3rd tackle, they get a penalty. It was 20 metres from the line, and
time's off.
See the 2nd effort. Tom Lynham just won't allow George Williams to get up, play the ball cleanly. They go for 2 points here.
Here's the run by Liam Marshall. It ends up at the feet of the big tall man Joe Greenwood, and look at the determination. Refuses to go down, shrugs off one defender, steps out of that same defender, keeps those legs pumping, eventually succumbs to 3 defenders. I think he's gained 60+ metres upfield there.
Dan Sargentson needing a bit of treatment, yeah, and at the end of it they could have 2 points.
Yeah, go for 2 points, takes the lead away to 4 scores now that Warrington need to come up with. So this is not just doubt in your mind. As a Warrington player, you know you've got to force the issue, you're running out of time, and Wigan looked really composed in this game.
Hardacre, 100% so far this evening, and maintains that record to extend Wigan's advantage to 20 points to 0. And Sarge is patched up in his final season at Wigan before he moves on, Dan Sargentson.
Well, Warrington tried hard, didn't they? Got very little to show for that 10-minute energy boost there, but I think what they're going to have to do, if they've got any chance of lifting any trophy in 2019, any trophies or silverware, is reduce the number of avoidable penalties. The one there, I mean, some penalties just happen by accident, plays people occasionally. There's too many penalties for Warrington, I think, that are avoidable. We've got the ball back here, short restart, good fighting spirit from them.
Philbin it is who collects the bouncing ball, and then one side of the field to the other. A pinball approach from Joe Philbin, but his enthusiasm, I think, has helped lift this Warrington side. So has the presence of this man, Ben Murdoch-Masila, who's lost that ball and got the penalty.
And let's not forget, with that big game round the corner, what you want to do is absolutely nail down that spot. You're showing your teammates, you're showing the fans And you're showing the coach that you can be counted upon, you can be relied upon, no matter whether you're behind on the scoreboard or you're in that big game at Wembley Stadium. You're never looking for the long grass.
Here is Ben Curry now. And Warrington pressing again. Matty Smith to Chris Hill. Hill driving that in. Darryl Clark. But Wigan's defence is there in numbers to stop him. Philbin. Oh, and then Matty Smith. The ball getting away from him, and Steve Price rues another missed opportunity, and the Wigan supporters cruelly enjoyed that one from their former player.
Yeah, 139 appearances for the club. Matty Smith. He loses the possession, the pass from Joe Philbin. And dummy half, there wasn't really much wrong with it. It dips down in front of him, maybe, but Matty Smith should have really took that then. They were all set up on the right-hand side, looking to attack Liam Marshall.
Tommy Luluai needing a bit of patching up for a cut on his head. And that's good defence again from Warrington, as Sarginson it was trying to bring that ball away, but he's back where he started, the man with no number, Dan Sarginson. Where was this in the first half?
Yeah, good work again. Matty Smith really lined it. I totally agreed. It looks like there's an awful lot more energy from them. They're trying to dominate in defence, turn them on the back, push them backwards. It wasn't there in the first half. I totally agree with you. They needed that big start against the Warriors. The Warriors, knowing that they have a week off, they can put the feet up and watch the Challenge Cup final.
The ball batted on and batted forward, says Ben Thaler.
And that's a reward for good effort for Warrington in defence. Wigan forced to play that ball, looking for space. Quick hands from Farrell, and you can see what George Williams is trying to do, just bat it on to the three supporting players outside of him.
Williams and Wigan had it all their own way in the first half. Williams among the try scorers, but very different story so far, and yet it's they who have scored the only points.
Well, just 2 points in the second half. Wigan have scored. Warrington, those 2 chances that's been missed from them.
Jason Clark. Here is Chris Hill now. Pass goes behind Ratchford, so they've lost ground there. Ratchford gets to his feet a bit slowly there. Philbin now. Still going, Joe Philbin. Great run from him. It's Powell eventually with the tackle. Here is Hill. Hill onto Matty Smith. Smith back inside to Jason Clark. Jake Mamo now drifting across the field, looking for a gap, getting the penalty. Gildart went high.
I know that. Time's off. Do not run in.
Well, Oliver Gildart. Man, he hits Jake Mamo and goes down. He's skirting across the line, isn't he? All of a sudden, he puts the brakes on.
Yeah, it's more of a grab, isn't it? I think it's just a penalty. I don't think they'll go any further. Although it is a direct hit to the head.
I'm not. There's contact with
Gildart
right down the head. It's been a bin. Oliver! 10 minutes.
Oh. Oliver Gildart's going to get 10 minutes for that.
I think that's the right decision. It was just direct contact to the head. It's more than just a penalty, holding somebody down, pushing them over to play the ball. Doesn't look good. Now, they've been unable to score against 13. They've now got 12. 12 defenders for Wigan across the whole width of the pitch. Warrington have got 2 lines, all the formations set up here now. Pre-rehearsed, drill here, tap penalty, close to the opponent's line. Can they find a way over it?
Here is Chris Hill. Bang in front of those posts. About 5 or 6 metres. Oh, out, and Patton clinging onto the ball. Just managing to keep a hold of it. Darryl Clark. Back on the inside to Ben Murdoch-Masila. They're using the battering ram at the moment, Warrington, but he can't batter his way through. This time, Clark sweeps the pass away to Matty Smith. Another of the battering rams. Akawala makes his turn at the Wigan defence. Darrell Clark, the pass away. Philbin, that's great work from Thomas Luluai. And this is good defence from Wigan. The kick comes in, and it's dealt with well by Liam Marshall. They dealt with that well with Wigan.
Remarkable work. The kick wasn't probably high enough, didn't give enough hang time for the chasers to get there for Warrington, but Liam Marshall catches the ball, still has work to do. And it's been a real feature of the second half when Liam Marshall has had the ball. His effort, his endeavour, well, that's leading his teammates.
We saw Bryson Goodwin pick up a bang in the first half, and I think Jenna's got some news on the Warrington centre.
Yeah, Bryson Goodwin won't be returning. We did see him play on after he had his head bandaged up, but he has failed his HIA.
So that's another worry for Warrington. Goodwin, that was the incident in the first half where he picked up a bang, opened up a cut. So it'll be an anxious week for Goodwin. Of course, he's moving on from Warrington at the end of this season.
And the extra day might make the difference. It's 8 days that he's got to recover. And we hope for the good of the game that all the players who are fit and healthy and ready to go contribute to a really even contest next week. At the minute, the contest is one-sided, to say the least.
Well, it is on the scoreboard. This second half, it is more of a contest.
Yeah, it certainly has been.
And Warrington have made it such. Here is Philbin. Akawala. They forced Wigan to do plenty more defensive work. Hill. Powell and Farrell among the tacklers. That's the fifth. And Patton lobs that kick to the side, and very nearly claimed by Toby King. Frustration because he got up for that but couldn't keep a hold. Catalan against the London Broncos tomorrow, 4:55. Sky Sports mix for that one from the Betfred Super League. Of course, London bottom of the table, desperate for a win there. Catalan desperate for victory to restore their top 5 place, having slipped out of the 5 last week. Really fascinating finale to the season. Okay, Saints home and dry in top spot, but behind them, great contest going on right through the table, all the way from second down to the bottom. And Luluai kicks, looking for a 40-20 maybe, but more to the point, just looking to get out of trouble.
Yeah, well, kicks on the third play. Look what he's got. He's got Zach Hardacre, he's got Bevan French, Willie Iser, all pushing up the Warrington players. Like I said before, when that ball goes over your head, you've got to get back. And they're hunting the youngster Oliver Partington and Tony Clubb, and one of them's come up with a high shot.
Is that on Tom Lynham?
Yeah, I think it was.
Joe, play well.
Oh, and he goes across. He can see Partington coming across. There's the high shot from the youngster.
So that's a welcome penalty for the Warrington Wolves. Here's Patton, middle of the field with Jason Clark. 30 years of age now. Had that remarkable NRL career. One club, South Sydney. Nearly 200 appearances, and Darrell Clark on the run. Clark still going. And Warrington again threatening. Matty Smith. Here's Mamo. Mamo gets the pass away to Livett. This is good defence from Wigan, but Livett does well to get the pass away, and Lynham has to retreat. French overshoots. Lynham picks up and returns.
They just seem to be hunting them down, and every time that the ball goes on the ground, Wigan are hunting that ball, hunting that mistake.
Murdoch-Masila stretching for the pass. Little kick ahead, and the ball is booted over the dead ball line by Marshall before Toby King could get there.
Over the last 3 or 4 minutes, we've seen Zach Hardacre, who's playing at fullback, involved in lots of tussles and pushing and shoving all around the field. He chased that kick from Thomas Luluai a couple of moments ago. He was involved there again with Tom Lynham. He's a big man, Tom Lynham. You really have to put your body in front, and when Zach Hardacre is trying to get up at marker, he's probably still got hands on. A few words are exchanged.
Let's go, Zach, we've got 10 seconds.
And he needs to be the cool and calm, composed voice of reason at the back, Zach Hardacre.
I thought you were talking about Tom Lynham, who's I think he's picked up a few suspensions this season, just back from a ban, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he looks such a mild-mannered bloke, Tom Lynham, sort of.
Most of them are, Bill. Most of them are.
Really. Yes.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Down the years, Barry. Down the
Jekyll and
years.
Hyde.
Mild-mannered.
And Westwood's quiet off the pitch.
Yeah.
Tony, come on. When you're willing to.
Here's Philbin. As Warrington look to capitalise, having forced that goal line drop out, and they could do so here. The ball back on the inside, ricochets. Oh.
Another set of 6 though, won't it?
It's impressive defence though. Generally when teams bring the full-back in, as Jake Mamo was in there, they usually create an overlap, don't they? Don't forget, Wigan are down to 12 men, and they still didn't manage. Liam Marshall was good enough to cover 2 players. He puts his hand in between the ball. It's good defence. You don't make a tackle, but he's defended and stopped them scoring, albeit momentarily.
Let's go, please. You need somebody.
Warrington at the moment with 0 against their name. They haven't been nilled since 2016 when they lost 11-0 at Huddersfield. That was the last time they were nilled, and they've never been nilled under Steve Price. They're nearly not nilled here. Had Declan Patton got the rub of the green, he hasn't, and they're threatening again, and Wigan are offside.
You can always tell whenever Darryl Clark goes, picks up from dummy half and runs, they've won that play the ball and been penalised because they've not been set.
Well, they've got a great opportunity to remove that 0 against their name on the scoreboard.
They won't be nilled there tonight, I don't think, Bill.
Here is Clark. Clark's pass finds Matty Smith. Oh, they will with tackles like that from Dan Sargentson, and it's Jared Samet who comes away. Sargentson might have paid a price for that tackle because he is down on his knees further back down the pitch. Play continuing. And Sargentson was already in the wars. He'd had treatments for a cut. He's got a clean shirt on.
It was body on body, wasn't it? And there's Zach Hardacre. Tom Lynham again.
So they've only got 11 players in action on the pitch at the moment of Wigan, because Sargentson's still out of it. Just coming back. But here they come. Little kick over the top from Williams. It's Marshall chasing it, and it's Wigan's turn to force the goal line drop out.
3rd tackle as well. It had to be right. It had to be an accurate kick. The decision to place that ball into space for the hard-working Liam Marshall. Ultimately, it turned out to be a good one, but it's the chase, putting pressure on not only Toby King, but Jake Mamo as well. Just bats it over that back line. And even though Warrington Wolves will drop the ball out, there's another scuff, another scrape, another scar.
He's going to need a 3rd shirt. Dan Sargentson's patched up. And Jared Samet's missed that one. Bevan French it is who picks it up. And Partington brings it back for Wigan to Warrington's 40-metre line. And here's Tony Clubb. Jason Clark made the tackle. Williams, Sam Powell, as ever, directing operations. Williams picks up a bit of a bang in that tackle. Liam Farrell. Ben Murdoch-Masila gets a hold of him. A few bumps and bruises out there. Williams picked one up on the schnoz. Here's Tony Clubb weaving his way through. 10 metres out. Powell goes. Powell's little grubber kick. Nobody on the same wavelength. And Chris Hill it is who sweeps up but still can't get out of trouble.
But do you know what? It's amazing. Wigan have not only not conceded in the 10 minutes that Oliver Gilda's off the field, But as he's about to re-enter here, they've got a great chance of scoring here. Second goal line dropout. Chris Hill does well to get the ball back. Somebody's gone down in the field of play, so the clock stops for a while. An injury for a Warrington player. Maybe he'll have to come off as well now.
It's Jason Clark who's in trouble.
Are you still saying, Tez, that Warrington Wolves will come away from this game with 0, with defence and the effort to defend from Wigan? A big call that, long way to go. They've had a few shots at the try line and Wigan have stood strong. We talked about the deck pattern, chances, missed opportunities.
Goal line dropout then. Willie Isa collects for Wigan. Just the 2 points to them in this second half. Tony Clubb, aptly named, forcing his way towards that Warrington line. And Williams to Greenwood, and Greenwood trying to ride the challenges. Cooper and Hill make the tackle. Powell now. Here's Liam Farrell. Farrell onto Samet, and the ball behind Sargentson, and French has to pick that one up. And the referee will bring him back. And it's Wigan's head and feed.
Yeah, the initial mistake was coming from Warrington.
Shot clock is on, Tony.
And Wigan playing the game at their pace now. Yeah, they have been challenged. Tom Lynham goes in on Bevan French. The ball's knocked forward, but the previous knock-on was further down towards the Warrington's try line. And Warrington, well, they're really struggling, aren't they, present? Had a good 10-minute spell. Here it is. There off the arm of Harvey Levett. That's what it's gone back for.
Williams. We're going to go to Gildarts. Gildart is tackled, says the referee. So Marshall. Williams down on one knee to take that pass. Here's Farrell now. Powell. Here's Jared Samet. Shows it once. Gets the pass away despite a big hit. It's Hardacre. Matty Smith with the tackle. Willie Isa now. Samet, little change of direction. Nothing doing for him. Chris Hill with the tackle. So Clubb away to Hardacre, over the top for French. It was forward.
Well, Bevan French, he does like hugging that touchline. And the pass that goes over the top. It's ruled forward by the referee. Ben Thaler. Zach Hardacre throws it. And you can see from that shot, that angle, there's no problem with that.
He's been good tonight, hasn't he, Zach Hardacre? Got his hands dirty, got involved in some of the tough stuff, the rough stuff. And that pass wasn't quite accurate enough for the referee.
Earlier in the game, we saw 3 St Helens coaches sat in the stand, and most people would assume that they were here watching Warrington as Dan Sargentson leaves the field to address this blood issue. I wonder whether Justin Holbrook, Richard Marshall and Paul Wellens were here looking at Wigan, because the way they've played here, 9 wins from the last 10 now, they are a serious threat to say it's dominance. Obviously the St Helens side are well above everybody, but they're going to play somebody in the playoffs, and they're going to meet somebody in October at the grand final in Manchester. And the way Wigan are building now in confidence, keeping their opponents scoreless, they're giving themselves every chance.
There you go.
They'll deal with that, Phil, after that game next week. They're there to watch Warrington. They want to watch Warrington and see how they're going to shape up next week in that Challenge Cup final.
The highlights of which you can see on Sky Sports.
Well, let's get it right here. Wigan are going to want to do a number on Warrington. Last year in the Challenge Cup in the quarter-final, they were beating 23-0, the Warriors. They were embarrassed by them, so the Wigan fans now starting to chant. This is where they want to defend. This is where they want to rip in. Willie Isa on a koala.
That's quite a collision. Two really determined characters there in Akwala and Isa. But that's a good run from Mamo.
He looks good, doesn't he, when he gets more involved, Jake Mamo, instead of playing out on the edge.
Well, he's getting more involved because Stefan Ratchford's off the field, whether that's a tactical or an injury thing. Ratchford's been taken off here now, so we won't get to see him perhaps for the rest of this match.
Here is Harvey Levett, yeah. Is Steve Price wrapping one or two people in cotton wool now?
Well, this is about the time now that, look, you know the game's done.
Good pressure.
That's a good charge down. It's Partington who put the pressure on, but it's still Lynham who comes up with it, and Warrington have another 6. And that's a good run from Lynham.
That's what's known as the Samoan sidestep, Bill. Right over the top.
Via York. So Warrington trying to at least get the scoreboard moving in their favour, and they might do so here, although they, again, is great defence. It was Curry who was just short. Good work from Wigan once more to preserve this 0 against Warrington's name, but the pass reaches Philbin via Chris Hill. Samet in there, wrestling. Darryl Clark flings the pass on, and Lynham stoops to conquer. And Tom Lynham has got Warrington on the scoreboard with the simplest of finishes for his 11th of the season. And really perseverance paying off for the Wolves.
Well, they needed something, didn't they, from this game? They showed up well in the second half. Jason Clark, nice and composed, and Harvey Levett just taps the ball on to Tom Lynham. He's under some pressure as well, Levett. Look at this, when he gets the ball here from Clark, Bevan comes in. He has to come in because the players have all shot in around him, and Tom Lynham goes in and gives the Warrington fans some hope. Maybe not for this game, but for next week.
Dec Patton will attempt the conversion from the sidelines. Tom Lynham got 23 tries last year. He's not been able to match that sort of productivity, but that try converted by Patton. 20 points to 6 now.
Well, the Wolves have to get some confidence and some belief from somewhere. Lynham getting over the line will do some of that. Obviously, they've not been kept scoreless. That's a boost for them. But without Josh Charnley, without Blake Austin, they need some tries. They need a try scorer or two. He's the best hope at the moment they've got. Charnley standing on, watching from the side. We've already seen Blake Austin.
There's some pantomime villains in this place tonight, isn't there? With Josh Charnley, the Saints coaches.
It's a bit rough when you think of how much Josh Charnley contributed to the Cherry and White cause.
He doesn't word it though now.
They boo.
Yes.
Boo him.
Didn't hear anything.
No.
There's a few raspberries, maybe. Oh no, that was Terry, sorry.
I think they're all sat at home thinking, I can see his head through his hair.
So Warrington, they come out in the second half, and at least they have got points on the board, and spoke too soon.
And they made a mistake. Well, they are chasing the game. They do need to offload the ball in the tackle. It's a Koala who looks to give the ball to Clark, who just fumbles it. And they're coming together now.
Look at Oliver Partington after that.
Is it because maybe a Koala's the way he's come in with his arm?
Yeah, maybe. He turns round and sticks the finger out, doesn't he? And points at him. Combative player. I bumped into Sean Wayne, the ex-coach of the Wigan Warriors. He'll be absolutely loving that attitude. Look at him. Big Ben saying, calm down, kid, calm down.
No, they have got some good youngsters. They've got some tough youngsters as well. Mick Cassidy, the head of youth, doing a decent job. The former head of youth, Matty Peake, back at the club after some time.
Here's Willie Isa. So Wigan, who in fact are trailing in this second half. 6-2 it is in Warrington's favour. That's that old chestnut. They've won the second half.
That's what the Warrington fans will be saying, I'm sure, when they walk away from it.
Well, they haven't won it yet. Here is Partington, and Murdoch Masilla renewing acquaintances with him.
And that's what you like. He goes straight at the man who's having the confrontation with.
That's again good work from Warrington. Quickly up on Williams. That pass didn't do him any favours though. Here's Farrell now. Wigan with everybody back on the pitch, of course, and could be in for more points here with Marshall. Marshall gets the pass away, and Gildart it was. Just 5 minutes out of the sin bin, and could have added his name to the list of scorers.
Seemed too easy, didn't it, for Oliver Gildart?
Is it Joe Greenwood's piece of skill where he flicks the ball behind him? They're desperate for a try in the second half for Wigan fans.
Frustrating second half for Wigan, really. Fans hoping that they'd really assert their dominance in this game, but fair play to Warrington.
Well, I'm sure that Steve Price will be happier with the performance in the second half. They've still not managed
5 defeats in a row.
I was just going to say, still not managed to win a game, and that is not the form that you want going into a big game.
But they have won exactly the same amount of games as St Helens in the Cup, and that's what I suppose the mantra will be for the Warrington players. And going into that big game, yes, the form in the league isn't where it would the coaches and players would like it to be. Let's put it like that. They can't do anything about it.
Last 4 minutes of this game then. And Wigan will go second level on points with second place Warrington. They won't assume second place because of Warrington's superior points difference.
Well, it makes that game between Hull and Salford even more interesting now, because the Black and Whites have got an opportunity, haven't they, to push the way into second place.
Yeah, a Hull win against Salford. He doesn't. Suddenly, it's changed again.
Sorry, Bill, I'm just watching the work of Joe Phil. He doesn't deserve to be on the losing side, Joe Phil, but he's run his blood to water. He's run hard, he's defended as resolutely as he can. They make a basic mistake there on the back end of the tackle count, Warrington Wolves. But for me, the highlight of this match, if that's the best player in a Warrington shirt, I'm looking at the Wigan side and I'm saying the best player in a Wigan side is a young player, a young man making his way in the game. Morgan Smithies and Oliver Partington in this starting lineup have been absolutely outstanding from start to finish. And there he is as well. It's hard to beat a man that doesn't give up, and it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses. Partington will still get up and go again. So will Morgan Smithies.
Marshall will chase this kick, and the ball bobbles away from him and is knocked on. We'll come back to the 20 to restart then.
We'll kick it here, look, good thinking.
It's Matty Smith doing the kicking. It's a good kick, and Bevan French racing back, can't get there.
Gets the ball, obviously that's the rule, isn't it? It's an optional kick, an optional restart here.
That was quick thinking from Matty Smith.
It should be a scrum. It's a scrum. It's
on Warrington head and feed.
I think they were thinking they were getting a tapped restart.
Yeah, scrum Warrington head and feed.
Probably the easiest way of gaining 50 metres in a match.
So Matty Smith back at his former club, on loan from the Catalan Dragons for the remainder of this season. And who knows, he could find himself playing in another Wembley final.
I think he may be cup-tied, Matty Smith, then if you were talking about that.
He is indeed, you're right. And here is Mamo playing that ball. There is Smith, there is Hill. Well, this is right to the last minute, more defiance from Warrington than we saw in the first 40 minutes. And Jason Clark, who helped construct their only try of the game. Livette, whose pass fed Tom Lynham. Lynham, who scored the try, looking for a second. Pops the ball over the top to Livette. And Wigan stop Warrington's second rower.
In the shape of Morgan Smithies. He's probably had 15 minutes off the field. He still leads the tackle count by more than 50 tackles. What a prospect he is.
Mike Cooper now. Cooper was looking to get the offload away. Philbin was looking for it. There's a knock on, and that's probably the last action of this first half. And look
The
at
Bass brothers.
It's just the way.
dear me.
It's just the way that they're into you.
And they're still.
No, it's not nice. As an older player,
You don't
to
like
have
it.
those. No, not the Bass brothers, the Bass babies. Because they are only babies, but I'll tell you what, great players they are. Love watching them.
9 wins in the last 10 for Wigan, 5 straight Super League defeats for the Warrington Wolves as Wigan celebrate a 20 points to 6 victory. Warrington at least salvaging some pride in the second half with the only try in the second period scored by Tom Lighton. Lynham converted by Deck Patton, who had 2.